A lot of people ask about whether their photos are really safe in the cloud. Concerns about privacy, security, and losing access are very real. In this video, I'll walk you through what you need to know about cloud storage for photos, what the real risks are, and how to use cloud storage more safely. If you're working on protecting your photos, subscribing here will give you ongoing practical guidance. So just hit that subscribe button and you'll be ready to go. I'm Dionne Marriott, a certified photo manager. My business is Captured Memories Photo Solutions, and we're based in Lubbock, Texas. Since I started my business 30 years ago, photos have changed tremendously. But especially in the last few years, questions about cloud storage come up all the time when I'm helping people to protect their photos. Cloud storage isn't all good or bad. The key is to understanding how it works and what the risks are. When we say the cloud, we're not talking about something like this. We're really talking about other people's computers, large data centers run by companies. Cloud storage is designed for convenience and access. It's important to understand both what it does well and what it doesn't do so well. First, let's address key concern number one, security and privacy. First, security. Many people worry about hacking, data breaches, or unauthorized use of their photos. Cloud companies do invest heavily in security, but no system is completely risk-free. Data breaches are rare, but they are possible. There are also concerns about how photos and metadata may be scanned and analyzed. Metadata, that's like the location information that is in your photos, exists in all the photos that you take unless those are removed. For an example, say you take a photo of your child in front of their school. The metadata in the photo tells people where that photo was taken. This could be dangerous if it falls into the wrong hands, and so you want to make sure that your photos are secure. Another thing to think about is, when we set up a new account and we see those terms and conditions and we just scroll down and then we click on accept, they really realize more than people know. And, people don't read the privacy settings on those sites, and they don't understand the terms and conditions that they're agreeing to on many photo sites and other sites as well. Now, let's talk about key concern number two, loss of control and ownership. When a photo lives on third-party servers, you're agreeing to their rules, like we talked about. Accounts can be locked, terms can change, and services can shut down. Since I've been part of the photo managers, we've seen several companies go out of business. And so if you put photos on those sites and you didn't realize that you had them until it was too late, you may not be able to access those photos. Another thing that we see happen all the time is that the size of the photo is compressed. And so instead of that full resolution photo that you uploaded, you're only going to get a smaller version of that photo. So that's another reason why those terms and conditions are important. Remember, cloud storage is often not the same as ownership. Now, there are sites that you can purchase a certain amount of storage, but with most cloud storages, you're paying a monthly fee for them to store those photos. You're not buying that space. What surprises most people is that cloud storage is often mistaken as a backup, when in fact, most of the times you have it set on being a sync. So that means if you delete a photo off your phone and you're using a cloud site as a backup, it will delete the photo from the backup as well. Also, if something goes wrong with your account, your photos can disappear instantly. This convenience of being able to take a photo and think that it's backed up can give you a false sense of security. Another thing to keep in mind is that when you have an online site, those photos are not there forever. I had a client a few years ago that both of her daughters had gotten married within a short time of each other, within a few months, And so when she, was ready to tackle the wedding collection of photos, she's like, oh, I have this link from the photographer. And she gave it to me, and I looked it up, and luckily we still had about a month left on those photos being able to be accessed. And so we were able to download those. But if you wait too long, you can no longer access those. Something to think about for sure. So I'm curious, do you currently use cloud storage for your photos? Let me know in the comments. If you're ever worried about privacy or losing access, you're not alone. We can also discuss that in the comments. Now, let's talk about how to use cloud storage more safely. Cloud storage can be part of a safe system if it's used thoughtfully and intentionally. The key is not relying on it as your only copy. Cloud is one layer, but not all the layers. Well, you want to have strong passwords and two-factor authentication. Let me talk about that a little bit. So many times people come and they say, oh, well, this is the password I use for everything. And that's really a problem because, if you have a data breach and somebody gets that one password, then they have access to everything that you have online. Even some people will say, well, I have a system about how I name my, my passwords that I use for logins. And again, people figure out the system and they can get into your various accounts. Another thing that I have people that are like, oh, I don't want to set up two-factor authentication because then I have to do extra stuff. Well, that's true. You do have to do extra stuff. That's why we have two-factor authentication, because if you try to sign into a site, it will send you a code to be able to log in. And that means that if the wrong person tries to sign into the site and they don't get the code by text or email, then they're not going to be able to log in. And so that two-factor authentication is really there to protect you. Again, we want to understand the privacy settings and keep local backups. Now, let's talk about the big picture. What do photo managers recommend? As photo managers, we typically recommend a layered approach. We like to say a 3-2-1 backup. So what that means is you want 3 copies of your photo collection. Now that's not like 3 working copies that you're always working on. You have your original photo hub, and then you have 2 other copies that are your backups. Okay? 2 means that you need to have 2 different sources. So that can be an external hard drive, something like this that I showed you before. It's one of your sources. It can also be a cloud site, can be one of your sources. So you don't want to have the same, 3 sources that are all the same. And then one of your backups need to be stored off-site. So that means that a cloud backup is good. Safety deposit box, that's a possibility. That's another good off-site option. The important thing is with these backups, you want to test them regularly, and you want to maintain that you have one as your photo hub, as your main source. So many times when I start working with people to organize their photos, they have attempted to back up in different bits and pieces, and so then they have so many multiples of their photos, and they're not really sure which one is their hub because they don't really have a hub, and then they continue to back up here, back up there, and then they just have all these different copies. And so one of our goals is to get everything in one place and get it backed up in one collection, get it curated the way they want it to be, and then from there, create the backup. Remember, your photos are personal, valuable, and worth protecting. Cloud storage can be useful, but it isn't the only place where your photos live. If this video helped clarify things, hit the like button and also subscribe to the Photo Manager's YouTube channel for weekly guidance. Check out one of the recommended videos to learn more about safe photo storage and backup strategies. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.